I do it anyway. I do it now. I do it glad. I kind of like that angle better. This angle kind of sucks. Muma, come on now. Yeah, I think I like this angle better. Because at least there's like something. You know, maybe I should hang stuff up on the walls in here. Maybe I should like put tarps? Tapestries. Tarpestorp! Oh no, tarpestorp! Right here then. Oh, these aren't the same brand. What is that brand called now? I can't remember. What is the headphones brand that everyone uses? Rode. That's what it is. I thought this was a Rode mic, but it isn't actually. It is a knockoff. Well, I don't think it's a knockoff, but it's not Rode. It is Hollyland. I was just gonna say, like, oh my gosh, this fucking this microphone works so good. I have not charged. Okay, when I started using my microphone like last week, I've had this microphone for like over a year and a half, and I've just never used it because I didn't realize that I could. I thought if I plug this thing into my phone, there's no way to charge my phone, and I don't like that. So I realized there's actually a plug on the side of it after I bought a new plug for it to make it work. Anyways, I've been using the microphone for over maybe 2 weeks. I've been using this microphone, and I have not had to charge it one single solitary time. And I've done every single day at least 2 hours on a live stream. So it's just crazy that the battery, it comes with like a little like case that it comes in, and that case is a battery. But I mean, I'm not even halfway charged. I haven't even drained half of it yet. I should go get the box and look at it. On the pursuit of happiness. Oh, there's my drink. Let's make a drink. Does not have any salt. No, I don't have any spoons. Okay. Rinse it off because it's metal. What did I come down here for? Oh, yeah. You want to come in? Okay, stay outside. Really doesn't want to come in. Let's see what this box has on it. Whoa, 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 whoa! God damn it, cat. Okay. It still has two charging points remaining before batteries are gone. That's crazy. It also comes with this and like the cord that goes with it so that it can hook up to my professional camera. I don't think I have that in here. Oh, I just grabbed my foot. Ow. Anyway, it comes with all kinds of cool things. I'm shocked. I think this is the second week of me using this microphone, and I am genuinely loving it. Let's do this because it's cute and fun. Get in there. It's like rabbit fur. Testing. Testes, 1, 2. Where's the other fuzzy? Okay, there it is. So it comes with this cord, this thing, and it hooks up to that box. And then it goes into my camera. And so then my microphone can actually hook up to the camera. Oh my God, that's so cute. I mean, how adorable. Tattoos aren't sanitary. Pretty sure that tattoos are only unsanitary at the time of installation. Take a shower. I did last night, thanks. I do tuft rugs, yes. That's what all the yarn is about. How cute! I almost want to put the other one in my hair on the other side just so that it's like a matching barrette set. Someone should invent barrettes for porn stars so that they can wear their microphones. Or like bodybuilder ladies. It would just kind of be weird to see like a mic dangling from your neck, you know. It's racist for a white person to have dreadlocks. Are you fucking retarded? Yeah, we're not even gonna go there. No one respond to Wolf Eye Forever because they're just too fucking retarded to even converse with. Ugh. You can't have an earnest you can't have an adult conversation with someone like that. Don't even waste your breath. Money, no. You cannot go outside and get pregnant. Stop it. That has to go to work with me. All right. Where's my tablet?
This video is brought to you by Skillshare. So I am really tired. Kinda don't feel like doing anything. I kind of would just like to become one with the moss. Let it overtake my body. Turn me into a moss golem. I don't think a moss golem would have to pay taxes. Unfortunately, even though I am still very burned out from Icarusing for 3 months straight, I still must produce content. So since I will literally be taken over by nature on account of the prior obligations and responsibilities and such, I figure the next best thing is to be figuratively taken over by nature, which thankfully is kind of already my job. I want to make one of those freaking adorable mushroom hats. So earlier in the springtime, or I don't know, sometime earlier this year, I made my very own mushroom dress. At the end of the mushroom dress video, I was talking about other little accessories, other little things that I could add to make it like more of a full look. Did end up wearing it to Ren Fair. It was super cute, but it felt like more of a casual outfit because I didn't really have anything else to go with it. So basically, in this video, I'm going to finally tackle all of those little bits and bobs, little accessory things that I mentioned at the end of that video. So for those specific items that I want to add, of course, I want to make an iconic mushroom hat. It feels like I am literally the last person in the world to make one of these. They're extremely popular for a reason. They're absolutely adorable. I guess I don't think I'm going to reinvent the wheel or anything. I just want to make a basic mushroom hat. Maybe put like just a bit of my own seasoning in there. But of course in the video I also talked about wanting to make some little like mushroom gill inspired crochet cuffs for my wrists and for the tops of my socks. I'm also thinking
This isn't motivating enough.
one to go around my neck and make my head look like a mushroom. So when people make the mushroom hats, it seems like they do it in a bunch of different ways. Some people use cardboard base, some people will use foam, a lot of people use fabric along with other materials. Now because I do want this to match
your builder took advantage of you by selling.
Do you see who's on the screen, ladies and gentlemen? You, Candace, and Baron. In one interview? Nah. Well, maybe. I don't know. Hey, listen. I'm trying not to do interviews, but, you know, obviously, Baron can't. Baron is pretty much the only person where if he was just like, hey,
Oh man, I hate it when I catch someone's live stream and then they
other people ask, and I'm like,
clip that same live stream. This was from like 5 days ago. That's annoying. Doo 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 doo. Doo 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 doo. Ooh, am I catching his live stream?
If they're altered another way, PHS and the associated micropenis and microfingers and Flint-Dibble syndrome. Now, still another alteration gives a viable 6-digit and actual benefit. And then, finally, it is possible the altered path will do nothing to the individual and the organs. They just develop the same as they otherwise would. So to me, it seems we have a scenario where during a time when hominid species barely ever interact.
He's fucking hilarious, this guy.
When they, it was with
I have an internet crush on this old man.
and shows alongside John skeptic would ignore skeptics disregard. There are numerous stories of larger than normal humanoids in our oral traditions or in our written histories or mythology, whatever you want to call it. And a lot of times you can understand why the skeptics disregard these. They'll be, an artistic representation that just shows somebody way bigger than somebody else. And that could just be a political metaphor, right? Or it's an explanation of why there's big rocks in the river that say a giant threw them there. You can understand why a skeptic would ignore that as well. But some of these, they're a lot harder to ignore. Some of these seem very matter-of-fact, just mundanely reporting what they saw. And oftentimes, one of the things that they claim to have seen was polydactyly, which is 6 fingers and toes. This is reported in the Bible, And in the North American mounds where Native American giants were supposedly buried, we see this trait show up alongside giants all the time in the record. And it recently has been determined that Denisovans were taller than previously thought. In fact, they were enough taller than their contemporary humans as to have been labeled giants by those people. We did.
Hello? Hi, baby.
culture with
My
them.
fucking kid,
We
dude.
share all kinds of things with
What a
them.
trip.
And we do speak of polydactyly in our myths about giants. And recently it's also come out that the genetic evidence shows the Denisovans and Neanderthals variant of one of our genes increased the odds of polydactyly quite a bit. Not only that, it also does a lot of weird things to the skulls. Things that we'll talk about in relation to the Paracca skulls that we've seen in Peru. In a nutshell, Denisovans may well be the giants from mythology, and DNA is helping us prove that. Hi, my name's Dan, and welcome to Debunking. In my last video, I discussed evidence for the larger-than-life human cousins in the Bible and other places, and we discussed the GLI3 gene a tiny little bit in that video, so if you haven't seen it yet, when this one's done, you might want to go check it out. But this video will be able to stand alone. It's a tough vid. It can take it. Now, that GLI3 gene variant that I discussed in that video is going to be talked about quite a bit more here, because it increased the occurrence of polydactyly quite a lot, which again is 6 fingers and 6 toes. And this is something that's discussed hand in hand with giants in the ancient myths over and over again. To be clear, by giants, we don't mean something that's like 12 feet tall. We mean something that's like 6'6" to like 8 foot tall. Something that would fall within the realm of possibility, but at the same time be really freaking big back in the day when humans were 5'6". Polydactyly is mentioned over and over again in ancient texts. For example, the Native Americans have several references to giants with 6 fingers or toes. Australia features the same. Even Cyberk in Turkey has 6-fingered humanoids. And that's one of the oldest places that we have evidence for long-term building activity by humans. When we see 6-fingered handprints in cave paintings even, we see them in Chaco Canyon in New Mexico. It seems that the 6-fingered hands were not exactly deemed a deformity. It might have been considered a boon to a lot of these people, which makes sense. In Brazil, the famous De Silva family has 6 fingers and toes on each limb, and these extra digits are functional. And big surprise, they're beneficial, from the people that are playing instruments to the people that are doing farm work to the people that are playing soccer. They all say they have a benefit from having more manual dexterity. Who would have guessed? Which is an important thing to keep in mind here, because natural selection might not come into play on a traits like this nearly as much as artificial.
I love his version of autism so
in
much.
society, where we kind of get to pick and choose what traits we favor because we keep nature from really pressing us like it does other species. But I digress. My point here is, more often than not, a functional extra digit would probably be considered a boon unless there was some cultural reason to look at it otherwise. And one cultural reason might be there's a lot more people that end up with failed extra digits than ones that function. Well, the GLI3 gene is a strange little package because it controls development in an embryo in kind of an overarching way. So it's ground zero for this organism on a lot of different areas. Pleiotropy is the technical term for when a gene controls multiple different things, and they're finding that this is the case more often than not, which makes sense as complicated as living things are. One change can cascade into others and also affect things that are seemingly unrelated. For example, an organism can end up with sharper teeth, but also worse eyesight and thicker bones. Think of politician and like the way they like to weasel things into a bill and then just like hand it over to you, and it's totally not what you started with, but you get what you get.
Can't wait
right?
until I'm not hyper fixated on lifting weights. Can't wait till I get the results that I'm craving.
Using CRISPR and the like. Now, if you don't know what CRISPR is, it's a commercially available 3D printer that you can make like viruses and genes and stuff like that on. Commercially available. This is totally not going to end up with us all living in a dystopian nightmare based on some rich kid's hubris. I'm positive they've got great safeties on this thing. And they've thought of
What about the guy that's living in Vegas who rents out Airbnbs that are full of labs that hold bioweapons and biochemical bacteria, viruses, and stuff like that? You guys heard about that?
It hugely increased the instances of polydactyly. In a paper on genetic mutations caused by GLI3 gene variations in general, it mentions 3 different types of genetic disorders: Gregg cephalopolysindactyly syndrome, GCPS, Polyster Hall syndrome, PHS, and postaxial polydactyly type A. Papa. All three are similar, but they're also different. You don't think they gave them such goofy sounding names for no reason, right? So anyway, the first one we'll talk about, GCPS, occurs about equally in men and women. And the gene itself has about a 50% chance of being passed from the parent to their kid. And this doesn't mean a disorder will be present itself, and it is generally considered a disorder because the mutations are varied and generally they're harmful. Extra digits are common, but they're usually not functional extra digits. What else is common is extra webbing between the fingers and toes, total fusion of the fingers and toes, and various cranial deformations that we'll discuss a little bit further in the video. It's important to note that basically this is never good for you. This variant of the GLI3 gene can even result in like hernias where your intestines are born outside the stomach wall, still inside your stomach, but outside the muscle wall. Or you could even have it worse where you end up with water on the brain or mental disorders.
My knee.
So yeah, Flint's cephalopodily, diddly-dactyly, polydactyly thing is really not something that you'd ever want to get.
He fucking hates Flint Dibble so much.
Avoid at all costs. And now, a word from our sponsor.
Hydrocephaly. Or what is it? Small penis and small hands, also known as the Flint Dibble syndrome.
You'll find me on stage talking about elongated.
Don't do it.
Lost species.
What are you on the hunt for? What do you smell?
Giants, real giants will be on stage. People like Randall Carlson and David Childress,
Let's get you.
Steve Newman and J.J. Ainsworth and Billy Carson and the Mystery Boys. That's right.
You can find something to
Duncan
beat
Trussell
up.
are gonna be there. They call them the Mystery Boys because it's a mystery as to how they let me on their channel to begin with. But at any rate, come hang out with us this October 16th through 18th at the Quest for Ancient Civilizations Conference.
How did we get here? I want to hear about fucking.
Oh, he was with fucking Duncan?
To you, Duncan. Pay attention. October 16th through 18th in Austin, Texas. Link is in the description. Thank you so much. Now returning to your regularly scheduled video. Now next is Polyster Hall syndrome.
I like him. I think he's hilarious.
This is usually first noticed
I have
by
a
extra finger
internet crush on him. I don't never want to meet him or nothing.
of some fingers or toes. Could be
That-
other stuff too,
That would
like
humanize him, and it would take away all the
opening the top of the windpipe.
all the
Crazier stuff, like
whatever
the
that
flap of
is.
skin that covers, your
I can't think of the
butthole,
word.
Any other lower openings you might have. So this is, caused some pioneers in the world of
Where-
gender surgery. But
Yeah, I
at
can't
any
think of the
rate,
word.
this is generally, again, not a very good thing to consider to be had. They can even have a malformation of the hypothalamus. So
What?
that's the part of the brain that controls the pituitary gland. And as a result, some of these people can end up with a micro penis. Oh my God. Some have early development into adulthood or even diabetes. People with this disorder often have deformed heads, with their ears being further back and turned slightly, their nose is pinned upwards, their palate's cleft, and a tongue smaller than usual. Thank God for those extra fingers, or these guys would have zero chance with the ladies. At any rate, there's one more genetic disorder listed. Postaxial polydactyly type A, and this one's very simple. The person has an extra finger and toe on each hand next to the pinky that's fully functional. This is what the Da Silva family down in Brazil have, right? This is just a basic old, what you would say on the tin. You get an extra digit, ta-da. And this clearly would have evolutionary advantages. And as such, it may well have been looked at as like a spiritual boon, as like a touch from the gods. It could also have been looked at as demonic, as evil, as wicked, especially considering that the same genetic pathways that lead to this could also lead to somebody having deformities and whatnot. It's basically, it comes down to an organism's genetic past, how it develops. Different genes don't play well together, and some do. And that's really what it comes down to. So there was no way for them to know this back then. So it may well have been looked at as demonic. It may well have been looked at as a boon from the gods. It's tough to say, and it probably varied a lot based on each culture. We have a lot of different writings of six-fingered giants, and some of them are treated differently than others. I mean, the Bible spoke of them as evil villains that had to be put down. Native American accounts spoke of six-fingered red-headed.
I wish I could draw
ate human flesh.
the little faces that I see in random things.
Rock art showing a six-fingered man standing next to a slightly
I
shorter
see a
five-fingered man. Not his enemies,
Captain
but his
Hook
friends.
like a pirate with a pirate hat,
Teachers having six
a long
fingers.
face.
These are more rare, generally speaking.
It's crazy what you can see
Six-fingered stuff is associated with bad people that eat
when you
humans
look.
and are not nice guys. My buddy Jim Vieira's got a book on this.
Everything looks like faces to me. I always see faces in random shit.
You can go look at that. A lot of the images that I've used come from there. Jim's researched the six-fingered side of this quite a bit, and his knowledge on the mythology is pretty extensive. Now, he hasn't spoken about this genetic stuff, but this is all pretty new, so it's understandable that he has only recently become aware of it. Since I've started talking about it, but basically these guys were really rotten. I mean, they were like as mean to other humans as archaeologists are to indigenous people when they show up in an area. At least until they've looted all the artifacts, and then they've changed to protecting the integrity of the site. It's kind of like NCIS. Once you've been excavated and nappy dug out, you just let people do a little bit more poking around before you clean everything up. Alright, so we covered some of the more generic things that happen when the GLI3 gene has issues, but what happens with the Neanderthal/Denisovan variant specifically? What does that do? Well, my giant-hating friend, I'm glad you asked. Let's talk about it. In 2023, a paper titled "A Neanderthal/Denisovan GLI3 Variant Contributes to Anatomical Variations in Mice" was published. The authors test the specific variant in the GLI3 gene Denisovans and Neanderthals had on mice, and the results are intriguing. It caused all manner of skeletal deformations, including polydactyly. The study also demonstrated that the slight change to the GLI3 gene, while not affecting
Rangi.
cells and their DNA,
Get it out of your system.
still have profound downstream changes. Now, this was fairly unique and unexpected, and again,
Yeah, exercising will not stop you from dying, but it will make the life that I have on Earth a lot easier if I can lift heavy things. I have a dog who's like almost 100 pounds, and he's got hip problems. So I will inevitably, at some point, be carrying my dog back and forth to the bathroom. So, yeah, gotta get strong.
VAPA, which is a useful extra digit, and no change in
I don't care about what I look like. That's completely irrelevant to me. Only y'all have to worry about, like, people are the only one, like, I don't have to worry what I look like. It's not me who's perceiving me.
GSPS and the associated mental health issues and other cranial deformities. If they're altered another way,
But I want to be strong. I want to have strong thighs. I want to have a strong, like, this whole area. I want my core to be strong. I want my arms to be strong.
They just develop the same as they otherwise would. So to me, it seems we have a scenario where
right now I'm at that place where I could get away with looking really like dainty. At least I think so. I still think of myself as like really super dainty. So I'm still like adjusting to myself being more muscular, but I still feel like a delicate bird. And I don't like it.
And I'm going to go on a limb and say it's possible that there were other changes and stuff up here. We can't really measure that in mice either, can we?
I want to have the muscles that go right here and stick out. I want to have butt dimples. And I want strong legs. That's what I want. That's my idea of what I want, honestly. If I had a way of choosing how I'm perceived, I would like it if people perceived me as sturdy. That's what I would like. Like, dang, that's a sturdy woman. You're damn right, son.
They made it taboo in their communities. Or it could just be that they never found other communities to breed with. It's tough to say for sure, but it is interesting that we see.
Have y'all seen what they're doing in Gary, Indiana? How Gary, Indiana has no electricity, no water. They're looting. They're like killing each other in the streets. There's no police. There's no fire department. There's nobody going in to save them. The military isn't even going in or anything. Gary, Indiana is like really fucking suffering. And it's not just Gary, Indiana. It's like the area called the Region, which is like, I think southeast of Chicago. Have you heard what's going on in Chicago, the outside of Chicago? These people, and I mean, I know that you know that this is a predominantly black community, and they're literally like going crazy on each other right now. And I think it's a lot like what happened in, where was it? You remember when Hurricane Katrina happened, how they did those people? with Hurricane Katrina, I think it's another one of those types of situations. And I've been saying this for at least 7 or 8 years. They're going to turn the power off on everybody. So, like, you need to get generator, you need to know. My very first TikTok that I posted ever was telling people how to find a fresh water source. Like, there's a map that you can find and you should print it out so you have it in paper form. But it's findaspring.org, and it'll show you hot springs, cold springs. Cold springs, you drink the water. You can get right up there and take the water for free. So that it's on there's they show you some that are on private land and public. So if you go to findaspring.org and you get that map and you download the map of your region, you don't have to download the whole country. You can, but it's going to be a lot of paper. But you want to map out your area, find out where there's fresh water in your area, so that way when they turn the power off and the water off, you and your people can at the very least have a source of water, you know? So, also, you know, if you have the option, if you live somewhere where the water table is relatively close to where close to the surface, I think 20 feet is the maximum for a one of those. You just hammer a pipe in the ground, and the pipe, you get one that has a point on it, and the point has like a filtering, it has like holes in it, so the rocks won't go in the pipe and block up, dirt won't go in the pipe and block it up. You hammer this pipe down into the ground until you hit the water table, and then you use one of those, and you literally pump the water out of the ground. And you can do that anywhere you live that is close to where you have a high water table. So anywhere in Florida, Central Florida, a lot of places in Georgia, there's a lot of places here in Oregon. If you live anywhere where close to water, your chances are good. So I am an idiot. It just tells me you're new here. And I don't give a fuck if you go and get yourself killed because you don't know how to survive. I've spent the last 8 years training myself. I just got this house. I was living completely off grid for the last like 6 or 7 years. Fetching my own water, generating my own electricity. This is the first time I've paid bills. I've had no bills for the last 8 years. So yeah, I'm a real idiot. I mean, I might be an idiot for coming back to society. I'll give you that. But I was ready.
But Neanderthals, we know for a fact that these guys, like, they had a lot.
You don't want to listen to me? I don't give a.
As well as just physical problems and working a hard-ass life. Another thing to keep in mind is the act of.
But to the people who do want to survive, I recommend you look into those water pumps. It's a pipe. You hammer it into the ground. I can't remember what it's called right now. But it's like lever action pump, like you would see in old-timey movies.
Interesting possibility. It's not hard to imagine a world where they were afraid when there was a pregnancy. They didn't know if this was going to be a child that was blessed by the gods or a child that was cursed. And having no one,
you want to make sure to put the pipe away from like anywhere that there's contaminated soil. So if your dog poops in the yard, you do not want to put your pipe there. You know what I mean? Especially if you have a high water table.
It's tough to say for sure, but it is interesting to think about the social.
And instead of getting guinea fowl and quail and all that crap, I recommend someone just to get an Orpington crossbreed, some type of Orpington crossbreed, and then just let them free range. Don't feed your chickens. If you don't feed your chickens, then they will find their own food. And they're very good at eating bugs. Ticks especially. They'll eat ticks. But only if you don't feed them.
Think about somebody's elongated skull. When the Chinook said that it was a sign of beauty.
I forget so many of you people live in cities, so the idea of a chicken not feeding it, it would probably starve to death in your fucking yard.
Just speculating on these
Forget
kinds
people
of
don't live
things.
in the wilderness and the
But
woods.
since they won't look at these things without just being like, oh, well, that's a creationist type of argument, which, look, just because a creationist thinks that a comet might have hit the Earth at a certain time and a scientist thinks that a comet might have hit the Earth at a certain time does not mean that the scientist is acting as a creationist. But there are certain people out there, Mark Maslow, who do exactly that sort of thing. And it's unfortunate because it's anti-science. But it leaves it to us. So here we are. And one more thing worth discussing before we tap out on this whole thing is the old elongated skulls. Because you go down the Paracas and they don't all look the same. They don't even remotely all look the same. There is a general, like, elongated cone head style that seems to be favored, but there's a whole shitload of just weird fucking looking skulls, man. Just misshapen as hell. And with those, you have to wonder, were they having children with another species of hominid? Did they have people that had these bloodlines that had this mutant McNugget gene, so they ended up with little mutant McNubs for fingers sometimes, but other times fully functional fingers? Sometimes they're skulls, but maybe with these guys, their skull was the most heavily focused on. A lot of these things is really interesting to speculate on and warrants a lot more investigation, which it gets really frustrating because, especially in the case of the Paracas skulls, is like that's been so heavily picked over and now hoaxed that it's just like it's just a big old mess. Just a big old mess. But you know, the GLI3 gene's variation where it causes the sutures to close, this could cause what we see in some of these where they're lacking a sagittal suture. They could have just closed when they were in their 20s instead of waiting until they were in their 40s, like it does with most people. Because I mean, most people when they get old, their sagittal sutures close. But if it closed really, really early, you could end up with almost no trace of it whatsoever unless you got right on the dang thing. And now I'm not saying these aren't anomalous. No matter where you think those skulls came from, they have to have some sort of DNA or something, right? If they're compatible with us on a genetic level, clearly they got DNA. The GLI3 gene is a good place to look for this kind of shit. It does the extra fingers, it does the elongated skulls, it does the closing of sutures. It also does a bunch of other goofy shit. And again, it would have been looked at as, I think it would have been looked at as like playing craps with God, man. Having children with somebody that you knew had the possibility of offering you this polydactyly would have been like, you know, your child is either going to be really good or really bad. It's either going to be like blessed or it's going to be cursed. All the way down to the micropenis. You could imagine heavy rituals like favoring the children that had the traits they were looking for. And well, basically what I'm saying here is, think about this. Maybe elongated skulls aren't a naturally occurring or artificially occurring thing in and of themselves. Maybe they're on a spectrum. Maybe they're skull fluid. Maybe what happens is they modified skulls that had already been born that were fucking out of whack to begin with. And this is how they got some of those just absolute goofy ass shapes. Again, we don't know for sure. And what we do know is that there was other species of hominid that were interbreeding with us. We did share caves with Denisovans and Neanderthal. We did share DNA with Denisovans and Neanderthal. We shared culture with Denisovans and Neanderthal. The fact of the matter is, our history was complex. And if you had sex with one of these different species of hominid, your offspring may well have been a damn mutant. Or it could have been a god.
Trump's a traitor!
Would it be too strong a language to say that Trump is a traitor?
Oh, I consider him a traitor, of course. He said no more foreign wars. He campaigned on that. I campaigned on that for him.
We have special guests with us, Marjorie Taylor Greene, American businesswoman, politician, served as U.S. representative for Congress in Georgia's 14th congressional district from 21 until 26. Former member of the Republican Party, staunch supporter of Donald Trump, ultimately split with Trump over his release of the Epstein files.
We all know who she is, Jimmy. Come on.
Following her departure from Congress, she left the Republican Party in June. Welcome to the show, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Hi, Jimmy. Thank you for having me.
It's really great to see you. We were just talking briefly about how I had been saying for quite a long time that the way the establishment and the deep state and the oligarchs work is they want divide and conquer. And so they wanted,
Well, yeah.
and the left, I come from the left, and so the left, I know for sure, bought it hook, line, and sinker that their enemy wasn't the oligarchy or wasn't the establishment or wasn't the deep state or the war machine or Wall Street, but their
I
enemy
don't have
was
very
their
much more
neighbor.
time.
And they've been tricked into thinking that their neighbor, who is suffering under the same economic conditions as
I wonder
they
where my
are,
coffee drink
are
is.
somehow their neighbor because they're white supremacists, they're racist, they're anti-LGBTQ, they're all these things. And it's good to see that you share that, except not enough people do. Would you agree with that?
I totally agree. And I'm very thankful you were sharing that message long before me. You know, it took me 5 years in Congress to
No, it didn't.
really conclude that the American people have been under basically a psyop that has trained the American people to fight each other, kind of like football fans fight in a bar over who their favorite team is. And politics shouldn't
Yep.
be a team sport.
Nope.
And like you said,
She's literally saying exactly what I've been saying.
Suffering
It's funny.
from the actual system, the two-party system, which has completely.
She's still a fucking politician. You can't trust her as far as you can throw her.
I saw it firsthand, and I went from under a Democrat president, Joe Biden, under the president that I supported and helped get elected, Donald Trump, and I was blown away within the first 6 months of that. That it's really they're both working on the
5 years or 6 months, Marjorie.
For the same causes, and it's such a failure.
Well, there's the old saying: no matter who you vote for, you get John McCain, and so
it's true.
There is almost.
Yay, Jimmy got to tell his joke to someone finally.
You can point to the border. So Donald Trump did close down the border, which everybody from Dennis Kucinich, who's a staunch lefty, and Bernie Sanders used to advocate for that before he got his mind right. And of course, unions have always argued for that because it undercuts labor. And so Donald Trump did do that. Turns out we didn't need a wall. But he talked about having a wall for 6-8 years, and it turns out it's like flipping a switch. You don't need to build a wall. Isn't that amazing?
It is amazing. You know, I fully support border security. That's one of the things. I lock my doors and my windows at my house at night as well. So I'm all about border security. But you know, here's the thing.
I hear bass.
Really baffled me is under.
Is that my husband?
Republican president, Republican-controlled House and Senate. We're seeing the continuance in full support of H-1B visas. So whether it's illegal.
Nope. My kitty likes the carpet.
Rapidly and have been for years replacing American jobs. So it's kind of interesting to me. I would compare the wide open border under the Biden administration is the H-1B visa program under the Trump administration that has continued for years, and it was under Democrats as well. I think that is almost equally as dangerous to our country and to American jobs.
Well, I agree with you 100% because one of Joe Biden's last acts on his way out of office was to expand the H-1B visas to foreign truck drivers. Now, being a truck driver is the number one job for non-college educated males in the United States. We don't need to import truck drivers, and so this is your government working against you, right? And I've said that that the people in Congress and the people in the White House are actual middle managers, and that they have a boss, and that capital, meaning the oligarchs, the billionaires, sit above government, And that's why our country's being hollowed out from the inside, because the oligarchs have no loyalty to the United States. They only have loyalty to their own bank accounts and to themselves. They're international. And that's the big
I
difference
don't
why if you go
wanna
to, say,
do
China, and no
any
one's
of
advocating for
this
communism, but if you go to China,
today.
their cities are futuristic. They're 10, 20, 30 years ahead of our cities, and they're going to continue to be. And that's because in China, the government sits above capital. They put oligarchs in jail left and right. They just put somebody in jail.
Yeah, but we don't want to be
Open
China
door.
either, Jimmy.
That would never happen in the United States. In fact, they would probably be given a medal.
Right, but we're speaking of China, Jimmy.
What,
They put everyone in jail.
What can we do
to become more like China?
To fight back against our government literally working against us?
Well, first I have to commend you for breaking one of the MAGA talking points. That it actually was Joe Biden that tried to suspend foreign visas for truck driving jobs. That one, MAGA doesn't know about that one, so good for you for letting the cat out of the bag. And no, it's absolutely ridiculous. You know, I was talking, so all of my kids, just so you know, they're all in their 20s. And so when I talk to them or any of their friends, the kids that grew up in my house, you know, we're talking about what they're facing as young adults. And one of them recently was telling me how she's filled out 200 job applications. 200 job applications.
Start your own business.
And this young lady has not even gotten an answer back, a rejection letter.
Start her own business.
This is what young people are facing, and this is why Gen Z sees it so differently from the baby boomers. And so you're asking, what do we do about that? Well, I bring up that generational difference because that generational difference is part of the problem. And I pick on baby boomers, but at the same time, that's my parents' generation, so I have a lot of respect for them. And they came up in a time where they could watch the nightly evening news and trust what they were being told. They believed if they just did all the right things that they would be rewarded, and they were for most of their lives. But it's drastically changed, and you know, I can tell you from my experience serving in the House of Representatives, it doesn't help the common American. Congress does not work for the Congress. Congress does not work for the common American. They work for the lobbyists that come into their offices. They work for the donors that fill their campaign accounts so they can get reelected. And they work for corporate interest and foreign interest, by the way.
Yes.
And that is the problem that we're facing. And the reason why I bring up the baby boomers are the largest voting bloc. These are the voters that show up election
I don't want to be
election
tiny little
they
bony
vote the
thing, but I
primary,
also really
they
don't
vote
want to
the
do
general.
this today.
And so in primary elections,
I've already done more than nothing. So if I quit right now, I'd be ahead if I had just didn't do anything. So change your outlook. You're already ahead of the game.
But yet the establishment
You don't have to meet some quota. Just as long as you do anything, it's better than nothing.
Trump has fought harder and endorsed more of the worst Republicans, the type of Republican like Lindsey
I feel
Graham, who has
not
an
strong at all today.
conservative voting record, and many of these, like Maria Salazar, who completely supports amnesty and open borders.
Orly!
The baby boomers
What?
will just go up there and press that button.
Oh, you my hip. What? What? Elliot will be here in just a minute. Yeah, Elliot will be here soon. Amazon is delivering things. Amazon. Is it to my house? No, it's from my neighbor. Damn it. How cool would it be if I left drinks and stuff out for my Amazon guys? I have a refrigerator. That I could hook up outside and I could fill it with bottled water, and I could say neighborhood kids and postmen. I think I'm going to do that with my extra refrigerator. Yep, I think I'm going to do that.
supporting these establishment.
I wonder if I
candidates
could get those
that are
cans that
responsible
like
for
they
the
heat
exact
themselves up.
failures that
So
you're
like
mad
coffee.
about every single day. So Jimmy, how do we fix it?
It's getting to be
It
winter
has
soon.
to be fixed at the ballot box, and it has to be fixed by people recognizing that, look, you voting over and over again for that same Democrat, or you voting over and over again for those same Republicans, is going to continue to give us the same result, which is $40 trillion in debt, more foreign wars, and continuance of ridiculous military spending, and the American people are going to
She's
be put
preaching to the
last
choir.
over and over again.
So,
Orly, you cannot have any more food. If you want to go outside, I'll let you outside. Do you want to go outside? Instagram. Are you coming up? Come on. What are you doing? Come up. Come on. Come on, fat boy. Don't leave until you turn off the air conditioner today, Heather. Come lay down. Right here. Lay down. Lay down. It's starting to get warm. Oh yeah, it's super sunny out. All by myself. Wow, that changed the whole mood in the room. I wanna be all by. Hard to be sure. Hello, my mouth. Sucks that like I can't listen to copywritten stuff on this app. So that just leaves me with this crap. Kind of hungry. I think I might be getting hangry.
There's certain things that you say that will get your murder case.
We are here. It's Friday, August 21st. We are in day 5 of Nevada versus Tiffany. He is on trial for the murder of Tupac Shakur. So we are going to see, well, what witnesses they have today.
Get your shit together.
Of TPD's own words yesterday, and some of the questions
are, money.
How can they use those against him? This all came up in pre-trial interviews, and we are in different jurisdictions, but I do think that one of the things that opened the door
under my shoulders
for TPD's proffer interviews to be used against him was his book. A lot of what's in his book lines up with what's in the proffer interview that we heard yesterday. We know there's another one. We'll see if they play that.
Money.
But much of what's in the book lines
Girl,
up.
you're gonna knock me the frick over.
And so on the inevitable discovery, it's like, well, it's already out there. He's already said it. So this is no longer a secret proffer. And again, we've got different jurisdictions. They were investigating a different crime. Some other things that are more technicalities that I don't think would override the sanctity of a proffer. But the book really makes it hard to argue that you can't use those statements when he's said it in other forms. So we'll see what witnesses we get today and how many more times they say.
Just really glad my neck is fixed.
Stopped at a light, and a car rolled up, or really the wheels really caught my attention, and then I looked up and I saw it was Tupac and Suge sitting in the car.
He's a car guy. First thing he notices, the rims.
What did you try to interact with Mr. Shakur and former Mr. Ray?
With Tupac, I did.
And what happened? Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I said, hey, what up, Pop? And then he kind of looked, he kind of took like a double take. He said, oh, what up, man? And then I said, hey, where you guys headed? He said, we're headed to the club. You should follow us. It's all right, cool. I said, man, let me get a picture real quick.
Oh.
I had my camera in my center console, so I just grabbed my camera and snapped the picture.
Oh. So this was before iPhones, so you actually had a physical camera with you.
Yeah, I had a 35 minute.
Had a flash and everything. He took the picture. He took the picture that we seen. We saw the picture in trial. We're going to see it again. We saw the picture in trial.
Do you recognize what's being shown to you?
Wow.
What is that?
That's the picture that I took.
Now, after
That's
taking
crazy.
this picture, so you took this picture at a red light,
Yes, sir.
and I'm assuming the light turns green at some
He
point.
was driving
Yes.
safe.
What do you do?
After I took the picture, the light changed green, and
Wow.
they took off, and I recognized like one or two of the cars that were behind them from seeing them from LA. So I let them go by, and then they got in front of me, and then I got 3 cars behind them, behind the BMW.
Dang, that's all muscle right
And then
there.
we're just driving down Las Vegas Boulevard.
He joined the
That
entourage.
is all muscle.
At some point, do you make a right turn?
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. So we I don't guess the street is, I remember there's a Flamingo.
Wait,
There's a Flamingo, and as we're making the right turn, I get on the phone. I was calling California Pizza Kitchen to cancel my food order.
Yeah, I'm not gonna need that pizza.
I was on the phone with him like 30 seconds or so, and then all of a sudden I just hear pop, 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 and I kind of like,
What the
like
fuck?
looking around,
Yeah.
and then I see the cars were stopped, and I see the people in front that were in the cars. They got out of the car and ran to the front. They ran to the BMW.
So you hear gunshots,
Yes,
but you don't. Do you see where the gunshots are coming from?
I did not know.
And do you see who's doing the shooting?
No, he's trying to cancel his order. This man's story is just A, so interesting, but B, we've had so many just normal witnesses. I saw this, I did this, I heard this, I was doing this. Just so normal.
Now I make a U-turn. I catch up to. I'm behind the Lexus, of the green Lexus. So I'm behind him, and we see Suge make the wide left turn back onto the strip, and he went up on the curb and came back down, and then we all went through the intersection. It was traffic coming through, and we just all made it through, and then we got to I guess Harmon. We got back to Harmon, and Suge makes another left turn, and now it's like cross traffic. He couldn't get through. And by this time, now we see the bicycle cops. There's a bicycle cop rolls up, and Suge is kind of like stopped here. This is Las Vegas. This is the street he turns on. So he's just stopped. And then the cop drops his bike, and I started to get out, and I got back in once I saw the cops with him.
What do you see as you're inside your car? Do you look at the BMW at all?
I look at it, and then I see, like I said, the bicycle cop rolled up, and then he drops his bike, and then I see Suge getting out the car, and now the officer is yelling commands to him, get down, lay down, and you hear Suge saying, my man, pocket shot, we need help, pocket shot. And then the cops, I kind of blanked out, I didn't really hear what he said, and then the cop, for whatever, walked over there.
Right, because the cops have no idea what's going
got
on.
up and they walked over to the passenger side of the car. At that time, when that occurred, a police officer rolled up in a vehicle. He ran up and pulled a gun on me and ordered me out of the car. He opened my door, just threw me down, snatched me out of the car and threw me down.
This poor man was like, I was trying to get some CPK. I gambled, I sold my tickets, the fight was like a minute long, awesome decision, was gonna go get some pizza at California Pizza Kitchen, saw Tupac, took a photo, got invited to the after party, was gonna roll to the club, saw a shooting, everybody left, went the same way, because what the fuck do you do next? And then the cops are pulling him out of his fucking Suburban and throwing him to the ground. This man's gotta be like, what the fuck?
Now I'm like prone down on the ground. I'm in the
Bitch, why are your nipples showing?
see what's going on with the
You haven't been outside. You haven't been around no men. You've gone through 3 heats.
Yeah, I said, hey, what's going on?
I'm going to freak the fuck out if you have managed to somehow, through closed glass.
I get that the cops don't know at this point if there was shooting between the 2 cars or just shooting at one of the cars, but man,
When you're
Probably just old.
looking at what's going on at the BMW,
You're obviously going through heat right now.
I see that they were kind of like struggling with the door. They get the door open, and then they pulled Tupac out of the car.
and were you able to observe Mr. Shakur?
Not really. He was like, I saw the movement, but I didn't see what happened after he got out the car.
All right, so what happens after that?
The cop is, he sits me up now. He's asking me for my ID, where I'm from, what am I doing here, where am I staying, and he's writing down the information. I don't know if it was his partner or just another cop that's searching my Suburban, looking at whatever they do.
Since that time, obviously, that photo had become pretty famous, is that fair to say?
Yeah, yes, it is.
And as a result of it being associated with this case and the night of this particular murder, has there been some accusation of a conspiracy theory?
oh shit, really?
Oh yeah, yes.
And can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I mean, the internet does what it does. People, it was set up. It was a movie scene.
Don't, mommy.
Yeah.
Don't, mommy.
Yeah, I staged it.
Oh, I love
I
you.
currently work in the
Don't,
movie
mommy.
industry. I was a picture part coordinator, so
Don't,
they
mommy.
put that all together.
Let me ask you this, or did you stage the scene?
I did not.
Nothing.
So sweet,
Now, when
mommy.
you first arrived and you had seen
I love
Suge
you.
and Tupac, can you
I
describe first a
love
little bit
you.
about? I mean, they're in the vehicle, and you recognize the vehicle, right?
I didn't know the vehicle.
No.
You're so
Is it
good.
Suge and Tupac in the vehicle?
That's what I saw.
You are so fucking hilarious, dude.
Right.
And then I looked back and I saw Tupac and shit.
Okay. And were people running up to the car?
No.
And so when you ran up, Tupac, was he hanging out the window? Was he sitting in his
Good
chair?
question.
Just looking to see.
Okay. And when you have that conversation with them, of course, you're having a conversation, and it's not like, I mean, you're not hearing people screaming out Tupac's name or anything like that.
No.
Defense counsel is asking this witness questions that
What
undermine
is
his
it that you
client's
are
own
doing,
story.
silly girl?
Yes. That's the point. Remember that slide in opening where defense counsel said, my client's known to bullshit. So he's going to use the statements with this witness that contradict his client to say, look, this witness never saw Tupac hanging out the window. This witness didn't hear anybody yelling, Tupac, Tupac. My
I kind of forgot you guys were there.
is embellishing this story. My client is the bullshitter.
What do you do for?
I'm a filmmaker. I direct documentaries.
Hi, Michelle.
Showrunner for documentaries and documentary series.
Have you spoken to Keefe D about this case? Is that why you're here? Oh boy.
Before I came on, there were 2 consultants that were hired. Greg Kading, who's a former detective, and Mike Dorsey, who is also a documentarian, who's been following this case for a while. The defendant was also on board.
Hi, Moon Dog.
I was told,
As a
and so
consultant?
should Knight. They had agreed to participate.
Within those episode 5 and episode 6, is Mr. Davis seen?
Someone called me a sturdy lady. That's funny. You listen.
You released them.
Yes.
In addition to the fact that Mr. Davis is on there, did you have access to the 2008 proffer report?
I did.
And so
From who?
you produced.
So you had the 2008 proffer recording from Kading? Because you know what law enforcement's not supposed to do? Take home evidence and then put it in a documentary.
I'm here. Oh, well, Lego.
Oop, nope, stand it up.
This is the spot that changed my life. Forever.
He's bragging about shooting Tupac.
He also puts this photo in his book. He says that's him the night of the fight and how they were dressed the night of the fight.
All right. I'm done.
He's saying, I'm in Vegas. This is where I was. This is where I was. The prosecution has to prove that he was in Vegas that night. And now we have statement after statement after statement of him saying, I'm in Vegas.
And I want to make sure I'm clear here. Was the interview done in a way where he promised to tell you the truth?
No. I mean, I would assume they would tell me the truth.
Sure. And but
mean,
once
it's not
again,
under
it's
oath.
not like you're sitting here right now where you swore to tell the truth and you have your oath.
Correct.
And with regard to the information
What
you
is
did
that
receive
under
from
there?
Mr. Davis, did you at any point verify any of it?
Yes, of course. I mean, that's partly why I had Mike Dorsey in another room.
Sure. So it would be Mike Dorsey and or Rick
She's
Hayden
such a good
confirming
girl.
the information that
She's a
you
guard cat too.
Mr. Davis. Now,
One time, someone when we still lived in the bus. One time, I was looking at the security cameras, and there was a guy walking down the street, and he had a flashlight in his hand, and they were like nighttime cameras, so you could see, pretty much everything. And then all of a sudden, this guy's walking down the street with a flashlight, just minding his own business, walking down the street, and he comes in front of my driveway, and all of a sudden, here comes the cat bolting towards the road. She fucking jumped and fucking attacked this guy. And so you just see his flashlight all over the place trying to get the cat off of him. Oh my god. I had a sign on the front of my bus that said, beware of cat. It was not a joke. She's a fucking attack cat. She'll defend her home. Yeah. Every time someone knocks on the door, she immediately goes and like runs down there. It was so fucking hilarious watching it on the security camera. This guy's flashlight, trying to get the cat off of him.
Whether or not what Mr. Davis was accurate in what he said.
Well, just the circumstances of the murder.
All right, I'm gonna go. My kid will be here soon. Actually, I should check the GPS real quick. Let me check GPS.
Fair to say
GPS.
We heard from a witness.
Let's go downstairs. You guys, listen. I have a fucking 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home of my own. And it is so delectable. I need to find my dog. Are you in the closet? Okay. I'm gonna go downstairs, Orly. Where'd I put my microphone? Still right there. Girl, you literally have food in your bowl. There's literally food in your bowl right now. Go get your food. I fed you this morning. Oh, take your stuff downstairs. Be a good girl. I'm gonna turn the AC off and turn the fan on instead. Excuse me. Pardon me. Anyway, I'm so proud of myself. I should have brought my tripod. I'll go back and get it. I think that'll stand up maybe. If not, it'll end up in the trash, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. Here comes the boy. Hi. I'll be right back. Hold on. I'm coming right back. Stay. Stay. Right there. Coming right back. The dog's not going to get there. We're going to fan off. The dog's like, God damn it, I just walked down the fucking stairs and now you guys are all leaving me. Good boy. Lay down Orly's bed. He's in his bed. Good boy. I kind of have to go pee. What? You having a bit of a struggle going down the stairs? You probably shouldn't go up again. All right. I'm gonna go pee and then we'll make some coffee. Soon. Yeah, nice try. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. Pissing my mind away. Pissing my heart away. Who makes a whiskey drink? She drinks a cider drink. Who drinks a lager drink? She drinks a cider drink. I drink a song that reminds me of little bonds. I drink a song that reminds me of the little. Don't cry for me, as for me. Bum 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 bum. loose. Text Grandpa Josh, can you guys stop and get food on your way here? I'm kind of hungry.
Okay, sending.
heard me making sounds that sounded like something tasted good, so you come running. Color me shocked. Alright, let's transfer this to this so I can wash this thing. Actually, I want to wash that too. Loosen the night world. I'm like obviously trying to crack my vessel over here by blasting it with hot water after taking it out of the refrigerator. I sure wish I had like one of those things you put the coil and the ice around the coil. That would be so nice.
Who happened to be in Vegas for the fight, ended up not going to the fight because he sold the tickets to somebody who was looking for tickets for like $2,500. Went back to the Monte Carlo to go to the craps table, got hungry, decided to order some CPK, got into his white Suburban SUV, went to go pick up his California Pizza Kitchen, noticed Suge Knight's BMW because he noticed the rims, he noticed the tires. He was a car salesman and now actually works within the film industry, providing cars for sets, movies, commercials, television shows. But seems like always was.
Seems like he adapted his story later, but whatever.
Oh, that's Tupac in that car. Okay. Had a 35mm camera in the center console of his vehicle and said, essentially, can I get a picture? And took the picture of Tupac that we've seen in this trial of Tupac in the car with Suge Knight. And then they talked about where Tupac was going, and he said, hey, we're going to the club, just follow us. So he got in line behind the other cars that were going with Tupac.
I don't like that.
And then he follows Suge's car after Suge made a U-turn, followed his car.
That's better.
Came to a stop when Suge's car came to a stop with the others, ended up getting pulled out of his car by law enforcement, got released
Freeze.
from the scene with his car back to the Monte Carlo. His friend is still at the craps table, told his friend where he had been as he returns to the Monte Carlo with no pizza. And then law enforcement comes up to him at the craps table. He says, we need you to come back. We need to talk to you some more. His words were that law enforcement said to him, we fucked up. Can you come back? Can we bring you back? So then they went back to the scene with his Suburban and had him back at the scene, introduced him to a different detective, asked him more questions. At that point, he told the detective that he had actually taken a photo of Tupac at the red light before he got behind them before the shooting happened. Law enforcement took that film from him they developed the photos, and then he
Don't put too much, because you're gonna have to add. You want to add more cream this time.
developed those photos, and had the photo of Tupac has since
Be
licensed
just
it
like small
for use
and still
in
very
other
strong.
things, including the book cover. And then we got to a documentary and docuseries filmmaker who made the series Death Row Chronicles about Death Row Records, including interviews from Keefe D. And what we've learned is that originally the unedited footage of Keefe D's interview was requested by Las Vegas PD, and it was not turned over. Later, the decision was made
Making
to
coffee.
turn over the raw, unedited video when Keefe D started saying that it's all Hollywood and he's just telling the story for money, etc. And so they made the decision to turn it over, but then the video, it seems, was never
Welcome to
found.
reality.
And the raw video of Keefe D's interviews in that docuseries were never turned over. However,
I wish I could scroll through.
one of the consulting researchers, producers, what have you, that was on site when Keefe D was giving interviews had audio recorded.
Oh shit! I need to message her.
And all of those audio recordings were turned over, and transcripts were turned over, and those transcripts were entered into the record. I didn't hear them say, and I might have missed it, but I didn't hear them say that the audio was entered in, but that the transcripts of all of those interviews were entered in. So then the defense went back and forth a little bit about, this is Hollywood, it's for dramatization, you know, did Keefe D ever say exactly what happened when you were filming him in Vegas, or was he just saying, this right here is where, you know, my life changed? And then we saw these just little snippets of the interviews Keefe D gave to be a part of that docu-series Death Row Chronicles that came out in 2018.
My aunt lives in Florida, the one who was just here. She's out on her boat right now and at this sandbar. I think she's left by now, but
Oh my god. This is so good.
the water's nice.
It can be a little hot. Yeah, wow. Some people heading out on this water.
They're walking. Those people are walking. Thanks for the gems. I'm gonna pour the milk on top. So, to dirty another vessel. August 26th. Don't forget to put the sugar in the shit this time. We're gonna use cane sugar today. And I'm gonna put sugar in here. Whoop. That's probably fine.
And now we're getting back into the proffers, but I will say the production
Salt.
company that produced Death Row Chronicles cleaned up the audio a lot, because we saw clips of the proffer that we heard yesterday being used in that docuseries, and those clips were much easier to hear, making me regret deeply that we don't just have those authors as the leaders of the production and
Synonym.
raw, unedited, snarfly, mumbly authors. And that's what we're getting back into the who's back. Great.
Okay, let me say something about Mike. I mean, so he understands. Okay, it's like an informal meeting. He's just trying to get some information. You know, there's no trick questions. If there's something you don't understand, say you don't understand for a second. You know, but his intent is not trying to be crafty. He just wants to ask you questions and try to answer them truthful, and we'll be out of here, and that's it.
Right. I have absolutely no intent of arresting you today. You understand that? I would want to gather some information.
Yeah, that's not what he's not here. He's not saying he's gonna arrest you. He's saying
No, I'm not. No.
Yeah, but he's not here. So he's here to make sure everything's clear.
I'm not here to arrest you today.
It's not clear if you're not honest.
Okay, that's exactly right. You understand everything?
Yeah.
Okay. What happened when you pulled up alongside?
Shoot. No, you're not being clear. Yeah, shoot. You said got to shoot. What do you mean got to shoot?
Who got you?
What happened when you pulled alongside of them? Got to shooting. It's crazy to me that in a voluntary interview, not a proffer, in a voluntary interview, his lawyer's follow-up on that was, well, you're not being clear. When you say you got to shooting, what do you mean? His lawyer's interjecting that.
His lawyer probably wants to find out what happened.
You're not helping. Yikes.
Where did the gun come from?
So,
Okay. At what point did Orlando get a gun?
He didn't. PPD got the gun.
You did. Okay. Tell me about that.
you come out of the fight.
Why is this give Orlando a gun?
I mean, you were really a super
KPD is pulling himself out of this part of the story. What will be interesting is to see if we can his lawyer is like, you're doing pretty good. I know you're not supposed to be getting anything. And what does KPD say? KPD turns around and says, well, he gave me the gun. He gave me the gun. It's crazy.
You know, you ain't supposed to be getting in anything like you was involved in. You gotta keep it really simple.
You told us the state system was told us
Okay.
You need to be speaking with your client. If your client is free to leave, you need to get up and get the fuck out.
You want to try to do not what I say? Do what you look better than I ask him that question. Okay, don't ask him what
because he knows he can grab her. I understand what you're saying. But
Dupree's like,
he's been told that way before, because it's the same story. Doesn't matter.
Dupree's in there saying, you've already told us this. So I understand what you're saying.
So isn't it like they found out like Diddy is the one who arranged it all?
So that's what you got to do. Instead of saying,
Dupree's like, stay consistent.
How did he go through all the 90s named Puff Daddy and nobody knew he was gay?
You can see it.
It's literally in the title.
I think I would call it.
What the fuck is a Puff Daddy?
A lawyer coaching their client this much on a second interview sitting in front of the cops is so fucking wild.
I think I would call it could have been like this.
It could have been.
Presently, I'm not quite sure if it was exactly this way, that way. But I think it could have handed it to me and I handed it to him. You know,
Jeffrey's like, no.
that kind of a consistent gig. The thing is,
Oh, sure. I just got out of prison.
The stories already been told, and even that, the sleep at night. But none of that trust me, what I'm saying. But attorneys or
Dupree and Higgins are fighting. Dupree, like, you've already said this shit, and Higgins is like, yeah, you can say, like, I could.
I'm trying to say, just stay consistent, but your recollection doesn't have to be exactly. You can always put it in.
Higgins is coaching him to not remember. Higgins is like, hey man, you can be consistent but and it sounds like Higgins is saying, and this is me speculating, but Higgins is saying, don't you remember what I said before? Do you think Higgins oh, I don't quite remember, like walk it back? Because Higgins is saying you can make it less bad, you can walk it back, and Dupree's like, we already have your first interview, stay consistent. And Higgins is like, but you don't have to do all that. And then Davis just sits there going, I mean, but he did just give it to me.
He could have.
is that what you say? You really provide the
Higgins is like, you're not picking up what I'm putting down, motherfucker. Leave.
Okay, certain things you say that will get you working. Okay, so play around with that as you want. He got his job and I got my job is to say, not to get you to lie, but to get you to understand that your recollection may be that he may have been.
Higgins.
The
No, sir. No, sir. If you have to do this much coaching with your client, what you don't do is go into this interview.
Where are you, you fucker? It broke! Fucking useless shit.
Funny how that happens. He gave me the gun. Yep. That was a long he gave me the gun.
Tell anybody anything to do or anything related to that gun. So do what he
Higgins, don't help!
My kids and motherfuckers.
The lawyer thing! Yeah, did you say anything like, let's go get them motherfuckers? Dude! This is stressing out. Did you say anything to them? Just, why are you interviewing your client about whether he was encouraging anyone to go retaliate with a gun?
Oh yeah. hot.
I mean, that's a fair concern.
See, again, like we talked about at the bench, we were going to see.
That's why they paused the video earlier. Because he wanted that part of the video redacted out. Honestly, reasonable. Reasonable request. Did he want the addresses redacted out? Now, I don't know if the prosecution thought because this was so old that those weren't active addresses, but honestly, it's a fair request that if you're playing the
Knocked it
full
out of the park.
interview and he's giving out his addresses in the interview, to redact the address, it's reasonable. It seems that that's what they went up to the bench about.
See, again, like we talked about at the bench, we were going to see
Yum.
communication with the witnesses. Okay, perfect. We'll be in recess.
And the judge just said,
Fun to make, rewarding.
it's going both ways. You need to talk to your client about not talking with witnesses. We're at the lunch break of day 5 of the KPD trial. And I was concerned.
Oh, I still have that soon.
Is the 2009 would be a boring repetition of what we did in the 2008 interview. And then after the administration stuff, but not really explained. I did not spend absolutely not. We'll get to that in just a second. Because after we took a break, we took about 30 minutes of audio left. Took a break for the jury because the jury
Yes, yes.
and as the jury's going out, KPD's sitting there with his finger up. At the judge, with his finger up. Because he has something to say to the court. And rather than the court saying, like your lawyer now and your lawyer, redirecting him, KPD just had a whole moment to say to the court, essentially, that the prosecutor was wrong. Remember, at the very beginning of this particular interview, the interview had stopped and they had all gone to sidebar for more than a few moments. I wonder now if that's exactly what the sidebar was about. But the court spoke back to KPD and said that it has been going both ways. Spoke back to KPD and said that the state has been advised to advise their witnesses.
I always get nervous when these liquids go on these cheeses. I don't want to eat that. I'm scared of it.
That KPD's lawyer, she said, Mr. Sampson, to not be contacting any witnesses. The fact that the court response to this was, it's been going both ways, was completely unexpected. KPD just talking in open court to the court is completely unexpected. His lawyer not saying, bro, let me talk to the court, is also wild. Most defense attorneys would be saying, no. I've voiced this concern. But his lawyer stood there and was just like, go off, King. So then we get into this interview.
Touched it to your mouth, you idiot.
From 2009. And this interview from 2009, I think, might be one of the best examples I've ever
I'm a
seen.
dish making motherfucker, I tell you what.
Even if you have your lawyer with you, going in to do an interview that is not a protected interview of any sort is generally a terrible idea, unless you're looking at it from the perspective of law enforcement or the prosecutor, and then it's like, thank you for explaining that. But KPD goes into this interview with his lawyer Higgins, Dupree, who we saw testify yesterday from LAPD, who is part of the Biggie Task Force, and Detective Long from Las Vegas. Because Las Vegas is there to talk about the investigation into the murder of Tupac. And he says at the beginning of the recording, we're here investigating the murder of Tupac. The KPD's demeanor is a bit different in this interview. It is clear that he is more hesitant, more guarded. But now we're not free to go. I should have said thank you. Gotten up, walked out, because it's not a proffer. It is a voluntary interview. And then as they start going through the interview and who Zip handed the gun to, TPD asks if Detective Long will step out. And Detective Long is like, so Detective Long steps out. TPD's lawyer has a little heart-to-heart with him. While he's talking to Dupree, he goes, Dupree is still in the room. Dupree, KPD's lawyer. KPD's lawyer is trying to say,
Shut up.
remember that conversation we had before we got here? Remember how we talked about, like, if Zip gave you the gun, then that could put you in some problems with, like, catching a murder case. Remember how we talked about that? And KPD's saying, he did give me the gun. He did give me the gun. And Dupree's like, hey man, just be consistent with what you told us. And his lawyer's like, but here's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that when you give two statements, this is Higgins, the lawyer. When you give two statements, you can either like solidify it and lock it in, or you can leave yourself a little room. Not lying, but you can just leave yourself a little room. And KPD's like, yeah, but he did give me the gun. And his lawyer's like, I don't think you're picking up what I'm putting down. I'm just saying give yourself a little wiggle room. Just give yourself a little room. And then Higgins is giving him examples of how to maybe muddy the waters a little bit. Like, maybe you think that he might have could have maybe given you the gun. Maybe we step back away from that. I have never seen an interview quite like that with a defense attorney because when law enforcement's asking questions, and before TPD can even answer, the lawyer is either offering more information or rephrasing the questions in a way that's not necessarily helpful to his client. And I am so curious where the defense is going to go with this. Because remember yesterday, the defense attorney was talking to Dupree about the fact that Detective Kading told PPD to get a different lawyer. And it was insinuated that Kading suggested Higgins because that lawyer set
I'll
up
have to drive.
a $60,000 deal for Orlando Anderson to go testify at
I was about to take a
Show's
fucking
hearing.
tablespoon of fucking RSO,
Trying to help the situation
but I
was not
can't
going
because I have to drive.
So Kading straight
Hey,
said
Mama.
to TPD, yeah, I didn't trust that other lawyer. He seems dirty to me. Absolutely fucking crazy today. Just crazy.
How do you feel about Tupac being dead now? I wish it never happened. Right. I swear my life never fucked the Rick says I ain't been able to believe the original Lord. How do you feel about him being dead? I know your life might change, but how do you feel about him?
To the point where he's asking you this, you wish it wouldn't happen. It's a bad situation. It's unexpected. It's what we don't want you to tell us. Like,
I wish I never met Puff Daddy, period. Swear to God. But I believe him on that.
I wish I never met Puff Daddy, period. Swear to God. You messed up a lot of people. I was rich, I was radar, all that.
Rich and under the radar.
So I feel around Sugar now. Sugar. You know, what's the thing going on? Is there anything else you'd like to add? Anything else?
My noodles just keep falling apart. They're too soft. That's what's happening. They're just disintegrating. I was supposed to keep them separate, but I added them yesterday.
What in the world is this personal statement from his lawyer? It's been on his mind a long time.
Sure, I've been his lawyer for a long time. I may have suspected something, but he's never done.
What?
And we don't want to say for trying to resolve it like you want to resolve it. Yeah. That's why he's here. Yeah, no, I suspected it for 9 years ago. And he's here. And you know, the first time he said it, so he want to get off his chest, you know. Sure.
How is this fucking lawyer up here with KPD saying like, be cool, don't be all uncool, give yourself some wiggle room. And then at the end of the
that you won't arrest him today.
And Hagen's coming back in with answer the question. You weren't promised anything.
What do you think should happen now?
Oh my god, this is so good. It almost tastes like regular coffee.
Yeah. Let me ask you, has anybody promised you anything regarding this case? Yeah, no. Has anybody promised you anything regarding this murder of Tupac? Has anybody promised you anything regarding the murder of
I
Tupac?
wonder if I have any green medicines.
This case.
I really wish they would let KPD finish talking in this.
For real. Don't stop interrupting him.
This case. There's been no promises on this case that you can recall. You saw someone say something about this case? So you reached out and
The train, the train. This is my work bag. Should probably clean this out anyway. All right, let's clean my work bag. Goggles. Knife. Goggles. Some weed eater filament. Gloves. Mask. This needs to go in the other bag. One sock. Two unmatching socks. Ah. That's what I want. Goggles. I think that's an old, gross one. Yeah, I think that's an old one. Alright, get the money out. Oh, stomach.
Yeah, he took the audio of his.
A technical consultant, but mainly it was tied to DP's interview. I helped Mario Diaz write the questions, and then on both days of the interviews, they had me in an office there at Elon's studios, where their office building, down the hall from where the studio was, for doing the interview. And they gave me a headset so I could listen live to the interview as Mario was conducting it. And then I was texting follow-up questions to Mario while he was in the studio as things came up.
You're recording your audio.
Yes, I took the headphones off and I made my own recording with my phone.
We're at the end of day 5, and we are walking through testimony with the documentary crew that made Death Row Chronicles. And it seems we are going to go through all of the raw audio of TPD's interview with documentary filmmakers. We heard testimony that at first they had asked for the raw video from the network that produced the documentary, and they were told no. Then the network acquiesced and said, yes, you can have the raw video. And then no one could find it. So
Where is my change thing?
off of the set in another room, and then messaging questions to the interviewer was also recording it and saying it on their phone. On their phone, which is wild.
Dump this out first.
Was like they're
It's like so much grass clippings.
access to dealings. It's the job of the researchers to go back and formulate what is missed. I can understand that they have these separate recordings. So that was provided, so we have a transcript and
My God. Work outside, they say. I'm missing a pair of gloves.
All of PPD statements. We're going to go through all of PPD statements. So we've gone from the 1998 interviews through the 2008, 2009 interviews into the now 2017 interviews. And the stories have been pretty.
Immediate pain in my stomach, my gut. Okay, can't open that. Let's put it in there. All right, y'all, I'm out. I'm gonna skedaddle. Kiddo will be here any minute. It's 2 o'clock, and I gotta drive. Oh, I gotta drive my husband back home to his house, and then come back with the car. So I'm gonna skedaddle, and we'll chat later. Thanks for hanging out while I fart around my house.